Good morning, my beautiful American people. Um, just wanted to let you guys know that I've been put on in Facebook jail. I guess my account was limited, restricted for a few days because I have a habit of smacking down morons, and But I say if you haven't been in Facebook jail, you ain't doing it right. But um, good morning. It's April 28th. Um, just wanted to continue with this crazy and impossible idea that I believe that the American people need someone like you, someone like me, to be the next president. I do not think another corruptible or corrupt billionaire should be our next president. Truth is, right now, I don't even think a career politician should be our next president. Though there are good ones out there, and there are people to draw on both parties. It's not like everybody's evil. The good ones in the Republican Party are just cowards who need someone to kick them in the ass. And that's what we need. Someone who can come and kick them in the ass and let them know that the American people are their boss, not a dictator. The American people. We the people are the only boss. And that's why, we need one of us. I really believe we need one of us. And the truth is, the only requirement is to be over 35 years of age and get enough votes. So that's what brings me to these videos. Like I said, I'm going to dismantle the ignorance and the hatred that is driving, sadly, a big part of decision making, policy, and it's all, driven with fear, you know. And I'm going to say some of the quiet parts outside. I'm going to say the parts that people don't want to hear and don't want to say because, you know, get some of their panties in a bunch. Okay, so we started with the last video. I covered the facts, and we need to stomp it out like a goddamn cockroach. The idea and the belief that wealth and intelligence go together. They don't. They don't. Okay? They don't. Say it again. 3 times. So it sticks and it rattles around those big, beautiful brains of yours. Wealth and intelligence do not necessarily go together. Specifically, people who fall ass backwards into wealth. As we're, seeing right now. We got people thinking that it's 1934 and they want to build factories and get American people to work in factories because that's what they think the American people want. Let me ask you, how many people do you know right now that are looking for factory jobs? Because my mom worked in factories all her life. Proud member of the United International Ladies Garment Workers Union, all right? And I can tell you, since childhood, I only saw minorities and immigrants working in those factories. Even back then, I don't remember white Americans working in the factory where my mom worked. There might have been a couple. But you would think the whole factory was white American workforce. It wasn't. Not in New York. not in Florida. It was minorities that worked in the factories. So this whole concept that they're going to bring back manufacturing job and have Billy Bob making widgets at $9 an hour for Amazon or for Google or for whatever is just 1930s mentality from people who fall ass backwards into money and all of a sudden think they're smart, they're geniuses, they're brilliant. They're not. We're seeing two very flawed, very stupid people who've been given license to destroy this amazing, the greatest democracy the world has ever seen. They want to destroy it, to bring in a Putin Castro type dictatorial, autocratic, authoritarian disease of a government, because that's what all those governments are. You want to see autocratic dictatorship at work? Book a vacation, go to Cuba. Go off the beaten path. Go away from where the tourists want you, the government wants you to see. And you'll see what dictatorship does to a population. And because it thrives on ignorance and hatred, they have people today starving, hustling every day, so preoccupied to find something to eat that they think that that's the right system to live in. They love the dictatorship. In Miami today, that's where I'm going to go into, talking about my heritage. The Cuban people come from decades and hundreds of years, in fact, of only having dictatorships. Only autocrats. My grandfather used to say that Cuba era un quítate tú pa ponerme yo. That means get out of the way so I can take over. That was the concept of Cuban politics since my grandfather's days, because my family immigrated in 1946 out of Cuba, and already my grandfather used to say those things, that Cuba was, quítate tú pa ponerme yo. So that's what you want. So, this past election, the Cubans in Miami, the Cuban overwhelmingly supported the orange turd. That's what they believe, and that's why. And let me break that down for you, okay? The original Cuban exiles voted Republican, overwhelmingly voted Republican, out of one delusional, misguided, misinformed concept, idea that Kennedy betrayed them. That's their mantra. Kennedy betrayed them because, according to them, John F. Kennedy was going to back up their pathetic 20-minute, 9-10 guy invasion of Cuba called Bay of Pigs that lasted all of 20 minutes. They were all captured, killed, imprisoned, whatever. So in their minds, Kennedy was going to come back that up. And if there ever was a conversation, I'm pretty sure it went something like this: if you guys succeed, we'll come and back you up. That makes a lot more sense than go in, fail immediately, and we're going to put our nation into a potential war with Russia because you guys failed in 20 minutes. You had an ill-advised, ill-conceived plan. So, and I say, their hearts were in the right place because they were anti-dictatorship, anti-Russia, stout. All right? But that generation, it's my mom's generation, our parents' generation, they've mostly died off. Yes, their children, people my age, grew up under those parents and believed that nonsense and vote Republican today. So those are one group of Cubans that are still basing their Republican vote on that this misguided, delusional idea that their parents had. And again, the beauty of democracy is that you have the right to believe whatever the fuck you want. Okay? Cubans in Miami today vote Republican for very, very different reasons. Okay? They are pro-Russia and anti-democracy, inbred through decades and decades of relentless indoctrination from birth, through billboards throughout the island and propaganda that says celebrando más de 60 años de la Revolución Democrática Cubana. That translates to celebrating over 60 years of Cuba's democratic revolution in a place where zero democracy exists. And it is textbook indoctrination, where they use a word specifically to confuse and strike fear at the mere mention of the word democracy. Because as soon as they're in Cuba clamoring and doing everything they can for democracy, for freedom, that is their battle cry. But as soon as they get to freedom, they revert to their indoctrination. And they hear democracy and they say, oh no, that's communism. That associates negatively to what they've been indoctrinated with. So that's why I say my goal to become president is to get the Cuban people, those new Cuban people, to understand that they've been conned, that they've been indoctrinated from birth. And there is absolutely zero association between Cuban dictatorship and American capitalist democracy. There's no association. There's no similarity. You've been fooled. You've been indoctrinated so that you can be deployed globally to destroy freedom and democracy wherever you go. Cubans were sent to Venezuela. Acabaron con Venezuela. They destroyed Venezuela. It is now a dictatorship. They went to Nicaragua. They did the same thing. And now in Miami, where they still idolize Fidel Castro, call him El Caballo, the stallion, El Bárbaro, the greatest, and explains why they love the dictatorship. They love that coward, strong man complex of the guy who speaks louder. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? I speak louder because I speak for we the people. Not the billionaires, not the corporations, not the politicians. We the people. And again, as Abraham Lincoln said, we the people are the rightful masters of both the courts and the Congress, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert it. And we're seeing a daily perversion of our Constitution. So a los cubanos, dejen la comemierdería de que los demócratas son como los cubanos, como Cuba, como la comemierdería que se han tragado por 60 años. Despierten, come mierda. Dejen de estar comiendo mierda y siguiéndole signo a la dictadura, porque lo llevan en la sangre. Marquito Rubio lleva la dictadura en la sangre. Por eso está oliendo el culo a los dictadores. What I just said was little Marco Rubio carries the dictatorship in his DNA. That's why he's licking the ass of the dictatorship now. Because in Cuba, he would have been the next in line with his acts and his behavior. and this mentality. So let's put an end to that. Let's put an end to all that. They are all traitors and committing treason against the American people every day, firing our veterans, deporting children with their mothers because the mothers were illegal. Now let me say about immigration. It's been a problem for many years. We, okay, the greatest nation on the planet, the greatest country in the world, how can we be so ridiculously moronic and stupid to think that the world isn't going to want to come here? Wouldn't common sense dictate that if you're the best, everyone is going to want to be a part of that? That's where we are. That's why people want to come to America, because we are the land of opportunity. We are the greatest country in the world. We're the only place in the world where crazy and impossible are possible. Where you can achieve the crazy and impossible, even when everyone says it's crazy and impossible. That's what this is about. Because it's crazy and impossible to think that a retired, damaged senior citizen can elevate to the highest office in the land, can be the president of this great nation. But that is exactly what the Founding Fathers put into the Constitution. It doesn't say we the billionaires, or we the whites, or we the owners. It says we the people, in big letters, specifically for times like this. We the people. And that's what this is about. That's what my message is. It doesn't have to be me. But it does have to be someone to come out of we the people. So that is my challenge. That is my challenge. Let's go. It's time for we the people to take back our country from the billionaires and the corporations and the religious right-wing bullshit that they're trying to shove down your throat. Because this is not a Christian nation. This is a nation where you are free to be a Christian. That is a very big difference and a determination that they want to ignore. Because again, the Constitution has 4,543 words. Not one of them are God, Christian, Christianity, Jesus, religion. Not one of them. Say Christianity. Say Jesus. Say God. 4,543 words. From deliberate, detailed men who put every detail and thought about every word that they put into everything they wrote. Because even United States of America was put there with purpose. Because they were all slave owners. Could have easily named it the White States of America. Or the Slave Owner State of America. If they wanted it to be a Christian nation, they would have named it the Christian States of America. Or the Baptist States of America, or the Protestant States of America. Like I said, they were white. They could have called it the Anglo-Saxon States of America, if those were their intentions. But they weren't. They weren't. In their vast brilliance, they knew that the strength and power of their new nation would be in we the people. Those three words that they wrote bigger than all the other words. For times like this. For times like this, when the Constitution, our Constitution, is under attack. Because they want to end it. They want to replace it. They want Project 2025 to be the Constitution. And everything they are doing is detailed in Project 2025. All right. Before the election, I told you some of us were screaming at the top of our voices that there was a cliff ahead. America didn't give a shit. They thought they were going to float down easily off the cliff. Now you're diving head first because you chose toxic fanaticism over common sense, over your country, over your livelihoods. You put an individual in front of your country, over your country, above your country. And there's nothing godly about that. We've seen it throughout history. We've seen the exact same toxic playbook used throughout history to destroy freedom, democracy, and lives to this day. So it's time to wake up, America. That's why they hate the idea of woke. They don't want people to wake up. They want you to be asleep. That's why they hate the idea of DEI, because they are terrified of the power and strength of our American diversity. The beauty of our American diversity terrifies them. Because we the people, we the American people, come in every color. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. You were born here like myself. Your father served in the U.S. Army like mine, or didn't. It doesn't matter. You're under this country. The Constitution says all people. Doesn't say the whites. Doesn't say the natives. Doesn't say the Christian. It says all. It says we. Words they want you to ignore. We're not. We're not ignoring them. So to all the Latinos out there, wake up. It's a war on brown. It's what this is. Slavery was a war on black. We are experiencing a war on brown right now. And motherfuckers, we built this shit. We've grown right along. When Latinos come to this country, they rent a trailer right next to the white family. In 2 years, the Latino family is out of that trailer and buying their home. In 5 years, they have a business. And in 10 years, they're buying whatever they want. While the white family is still in the trailer, wondering why those Latinos were able to do it. Because we're smarter. We're better. We work harder. We want it more. You call it whatever the fuck you want. But don't blame us for our success. Enough of the hatred and the ignorance. We are the American people. There were Latinos on American soil, before any white people were here. Because if you adhere to the story of Christopher Columbus, guess what? His name was Cristobal Colón, and he was a Spaniard. So Spanish was spoken on this nation before English. All right, motherfuckers? And if you want to say, oh no, but the Vikings got here before. Okay, the Vikings got here, but guess what? Before that, there were cave people, and there were natives of this land that came across the straits. And they weren't white. Not one of them. So we have been here before you. No matter what ignorance you want to shove down people's throat. No matter what ignorance has been shoved down your throat. We are just as big a part of this motherfucker as you are, bitches. And we're coming for you. So it's either we the people or nothing. Because the founding fathers put those three words first. We the people. We the people. Subscribe to my channel, share my videos, Like I said, Facebook is already out to limit my voice. They're not sharing my videos. It's not getting the exposure that everything else gets or things they choose get. I'm in Facebook jail for at least the next couple of days, whatever. So I don't know if I can even post this there. They will be on Crazy and Impossible YouTube channel. So look for it there. And like I said, we're in the fight of the ages, and this David versus Goliath endeavor that I think we need to back, that we the people need to back, and show the power and strength of our beautiful American diversity, what they fear the most, and take our country back and get back to being the beacon of freedom and democracy that the founding fathers envisioned. Even though they weren't thinking of people like me, they weren't thinking of people like us. But in their vast brilliance, the way they wrote it does. We the people. God bless you guys. This is the greatest country in the world. God bless America. God bless the American people. And let's put an end to the golden age of ignorance and hatred that they're trying to take us into. Let's stomp it out like a goddamn cockroach. Like what they are, a vermin and a disease, a blight on democracy. We the people. God bless you. Peaceful protest. Go out there, do it. Write to your congressmen. Call them. Blow up their mail, their emails. Send them every voicemail you can. Make sure that their voice messages are packed, are full, so they know that we the people are in charge. God bless you guys.